Yeah, I definitely prefer this style, no question. It's definitely much more of an old school style as well. Another key.
Compass. When the dungeon's almost over.
This music reminds me of the Godfather theme.
Kind of like Godfather theme mixed with like the more atmospheric like Star Wars tracks.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. But every time I hear the little like flugelhorn go, I'm like, Godfather. I was thinking of watching that again the other day. Actually, that's a game that I always wanted to play, the Godfather game.
It seemed like people really like it.
Yeah, and it seems like it's like a kind of a GTA style game without being like obnoxious or being like 5,000 hours long. This is, by the way, a true fact. There's some videos on it. Marlon Brando recorded the voice work for, oh gosh, I forget. The Godfather. I forget, it's Don something. Man, I can't believe I can't remember that. Like, literally, like, on his deathbed for that game. That is the very last thing he ever did before he died.
Rip.
And that is true. The only, like, and he's, like, not, obviously, like, really a main character in it. The only bad part is that, like, you cannot understand him at all.
It reminds me of when they did DuckTales Remastered, they got the original, like, Scrooge McDuck voice, and he was, like, 95. Sounds awful.
Yeah.
Like, I understand it's respectful to have him do it, but, like, he is too old.
No, literally for, like, there's a scene, just, I assume if you search Godfather game, Marlon Brando voice acting, I'm sure it'll be the first, but, like, there's a scene where he's talking, he's like, and I'm like, dude, if there was no subtitles, I do not know how you would understand a single thing.
All that for a monster horn?
Unlike the GOAT game Sopranos for PS2, where Tony and all of them are voice actors many years before they passed away. IRL. Well, not many, but some years.
Yeah, I remember us watching the,
What?
I was watching the behind-the-scenes thing for that, and they just seemed so, like, enthusiastic about the game. It's too bad it was a piece of crap.
It certainly was. But the idea was amazing. And I'm not gonna lie, it's over. I'm not gonna lie, I miss games like that. I said it 100 times, but the fact that game budgets are generally just so huge means that AA games like that have somewhat of a budget and are based off of a popular license thing don't really exist. I'm like still surprised that Avatar, the game, was made last year or this year by Ubisoft.
It definitely seems more like Ubisoft was desperate for anything, because they are not doing good right now.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It's just still even though both movies made like $2 billion or more. I think.
Like licensed movie games just like barely exist,
Yeah.
especially for Avatar. Like you're gonna have to put like a lot of money into that.
And there's like, I don't know, and if they do exist, they're like really odd indie stuff. Like they made a game for the 3rd season of Stranger Things on the Switch, and a lot of people don't even know it exists because like that game is like pretty rare. Nice. But I remember it got traded in, and I was like, "What is this? Like, this is weird." And it was like $80, $100, and it's like,
What
okay.
game? I wasn't easy.
Stranger Things 3 for the Switch.
Wow, it's $100.
I think so. Yeah, it's definitely like
that was a stupid limited run thing.
Yeah, and it's like, what? I don't know. That's just so odd for like a very main TV show, you know. But I do miss stuff like that. And then we did for a CIB Let's Try, we did the Shield game, and I was like, this game's actually kind of cool. Like, I've never, like, if I would have watched the show and could have, like, talked about it, you know what I mean, then I'd be like, oh, heck yeah, you know. But since I don't know anything about the show, I was like, whatever. This is just
heck
Let's
yeah,
Try.
brother.
Is that all four then?
I think so. And I have the Master War, so I can just leave. What's this, though? Probably rubies, because everything's rubies in this game. Oh!
Monster Guts.
Useless Monster Guts. I think Monster Guts are made for blue potions. I mean, it restores all your hearts, but pretty crappy. Alright, let's just leave. The one tile that I was on is the first one that dropped.
Shrek.
Man, when you have upgraded bombs, I don't know if it's like this for the unupgraded ones, but it takes half your energy bar for one bomb. If it actually does increase your energy usage for the upgraded, that is the worst upgrade that you can get.
Yeah, and also the bombs can hurt you too, so it's like, what is the point of even upgrading that?
It's like slightly stronger. I guess that's it. But you can't get the great spin. I still have one left. Dang it.
You were talking about that DuckTales, that older guy. I mean, they can always do that, and then it's really rough. Or they could go, like, the Mario route. I forget the guy's name.
Charles Martinet.
Thank you. And just be like, the new Charles Martinet is actually, wait for it, Chris Pratt. Thank you.
They actually replaced Charles in the newest Mario Wonder game. It's not Charles in that game.
Oh, really? I mean,
but it's just like, you know, like Mario is just like, they're just gonna do Mario.
Bing, bing, wahoo.
Yeah.
No way, is that it?
That's it. I just forgot. That's it. Now we can leave.
Yeah, it would be like, there hasn't been like a Link voice, right?
There's different Link voice actors per game, and they always change it.
Right. So there's never been like but like,
yeah, there's no like iconic one.
Even with Link, it's just you know.
The weird thing about Link's voice actor for specifically Ocarina of Time for adult Link is that that's the same Japanese voice actor for Nightmare and Siegfried in Soul Calibur. So if you're playing with Japanese voices for Soul Calibur 2, Link and Nightmare have this same voice. For me, the most iconic voice is definitely the Ocarina of Time adult. It's just such a distinctive voice. I really like it. The other ones are fine. Wind Waker Link is also really good. But, like, Breath of the Wild Link is just, like, the most, like, non-threatening nothing voice. Just like, ha, ha.
That's because back in my day, Links were men, not boys. Up, here we go.
So this is another boss from,
Hammer.
Yeah, it's Hammer in the original game, but in this, since it's the bomb dungeon, now you fight him with the bombs. Can I still? I wonder if I can still actually. No, I can't.
Do the bombs, nice bombs, take longer to explode than normal bombs?
It's possible. I don't think so.
So I was gonna say, if so, that would make this boss even, or the nice bombs even worse.
Oh yeah, he has like a shadow phase because of the shadow dungeon.
Dude, this reminds me of the second form of the final boss on Brave Fencer Musashi.
Yeah, for sure.
Yo, that eye thing is cool.
This is a good boss.
It's like having the strongest sword doing the strongest move in the game works.
Actually, there's one upgraded to a sword.
No!
Just like Link to the Past, there's a gold sword.
Oh yeah, because you just got the Master Ore.
Yeah. But unlike Link to the Past, you don't find like a fat fairy. You just get 2 more Master Ores.
Sigh.
Soulless!
Soul versus soulless.
I do like the fat fairy.
Don't we all?
What time is it? I think I can do
21.
Yeah, I'll do one more dungeon, then we can do like a couple of shows. Yeah, we didn't start until like 8:40, so I've only been playing for 40 minutes.
So I'm 0-4 in my fantasy football league, and my team is already like absolute dumpster fire after winning the championship last year. Because I knew, I was like, well, that's all my good luck for like 10 years. I was like, wow. And so what happened was the #1 overall pick in most drafts, his name's Christian McCaffrey. He's the guy who's on Madden this year. So the Madden curse already hit. He was supposed to be out for like 2 or 3 weeks, right? With some like leg thing. And I picked up his backup, right? And I went to the guy who had McCaffrey and was like, hey, do you want his backup? Because I don't need him right now. And I'm certain that you could, you know. And I traded him for another really good player who's hurt. Okay? Are you following so far? I'm trying not to make it too football related. Okay. So a hurt player for a hurt player. Because McCaffrey was supposed to be out 2-3 weeks. And then the guy who I picked up was supposed to be out 4 weeks. Well, it turns out McCaffrey could be out the whole effing season. So I ended up trading, like, a backup who became, like, the starter player who's doing great now. And the player who I got, instead of being out 4 weeks, is probably going to be out 8 to 10 weeks. And I'm like,
BTFO.
cool. I got double BTFO'd. I should have just kept him, but literally they kept saying, oh, McCaffrey will be out like 2 weeks. So I was like, well, what's the point of keeping this guy? Who cares? You know, because the second McCaffrey comes back, his name's Jordan Mason, he'll be like back to backup duties and won't be fantasy relevant. But I traded a super fantasy relevant player for a player who won't be available until near the playoffs. But here's the problem. I'm effing 0-4 and definitely going to be 0-5 this week because I have like 4 players that are hurt or on bye week. And I have to at least make... I think if I make the playoffs somehow, that I stand a good chance because my team will be good when that player comes back. But the problem is I have to actually, you know, make the playoffs. And I'm 100% going to be 0-5. The only good thing is we have 12 people in the league, and 8 players make the playoffs. We do that on purpose because it makes it that people don't, like, give up. You know, if only, like, 4 people made the playoffs, near the end, everyone would be like, oh, whatever, I don't care. But if 8 out of 12 make it, it means up until the last week, almost everyone still has a chance, you know what I mean? So... I'm like, please let some stupid... Let me start 0-5 and then somehow, like, get 4 or 5 wins in a row. I know that's copium, but, like, maybe there's a chance.
So there's a chance?
Technically. Also, the best part is we have a very specific rule that... So the top 7 seeds make it in. And the 8th seed is reserved for... So out of those 5 people that don't make the playoffs, that don't make the top 7, out of 8 through 12, the 8th seed is reserved for the person who has the most points out of them. So I could technically, because right now, despite being 0-4, I would technically make the playoffs because I have a fair share of points, even though I'm 0-4. So I could technically make the playoffs at 0-13. 14. There's 14 games. 0-14. I could technically make it as the 8th seed if I have the most points out of those last 5 seeds. Which would actually be the funniest thing ever.
Sounds like copium to me.
It is copium. Although the guy last year who was 8th seed, he was 5-9, I think, and then he beat the number 1 seed in the first round of the playoffs. So, and he got to the final 4. He didn't get to the finals, but he got to the final 4. So, there's always a chance, baby.
There's always a chance, baby.
Always a chance. I forgot to see the Braves are playing tonight, and I'm sure they're losing. Oh yeah, it's over already. It's 1-5 in the 3rd. They made the playoffs barely. Their team is like... I've never seen a team be more hurt.
Oh yeah, I guess it is.
So the MVP from last year got hurt like the first week of the season, and then their ace pitcher got hurt for the season like a week later, and pretty much 4 of their best 5 players haven't played since like July, and somehow they somehow made the playoffs. And I was like, please don't make the playoffs. This is going to be embarrassing, and it has been so far. They got shut out yesterday 4-0, and now they're down 5-1 today. And I'm like, God.
Are you cringing?
Well, as long as the Phillies don't win, at this point I don't care. I know with those hands they give you lots of time, but man, it's just annoying how they're constantly appearing.
Yeah, they become more relevant later. Actually, there's there's something in the final dungeon where you have to like kind of manipulate. I get it. You have to manipulate them to like follow you to hit switches for you that are like above your head. It's kind of neat.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's a really cool puzzle.
Yeah.
What happens if they catch you?
They take you to the start of the dungeon.
Oh my god.
Or possibly the start of the entrance you entered. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it'd be different if it was just the beginning of like the room or whatever, but the start of the dungeon is
It's definitely either the start of the entrance you entered in, because this dungeon has multiple entrances, or it's... Oh, we actually have to do that, yeah, we have to do it now. Where they hit a switch.
That's very cool.
But yeah, Master Hands are just like... I don't know if they're called Master Hands in this game, but... Oh, Wallmasters.
Wallmasters, that's what they're called in the original game.
It was like Master Hands from Smash Brothers.
Don't be TFO. It's over.
They do explode those zombies in one hit. That's pretty nice.
See ya.
Slower. Slower.
I forget, in Zelda Wind Waker, does he climb ladders really fast or really slow? It's one of the two.
It's Twilight Princess where you go up vines and ladders really slow.
That's it. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, because I knew in one of the games it is like
It's
embarrassingly slow.
It is embarrassingly slow. And like Twilight Princess is supposed to be like the most mature Zelda with the most like adult Link, and like he just climbs up vines like
More realism.
I don't remember this one. Oh yeah.
It's not big room.
No!
It would have been slightly scary if they didn't have that slowdown or that freeze frame.
Yeah, to show you exactly where it is. Oh yeah. Well, we're almost done with this dungeon, but the next part's pretty annoying.
Is this one of the main dungeons?
Yeah.
Wow, comparatively to that dark dungeon.
Yeah, this is probably the easiest dungeon, other than possibly the Thieves dungeon. But the Thieves dungeon is really cool, because you have to lead that girl around.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably my least favorite dungeon in the game. Okay.
Like, what's the... I still don't really super know what the gimmick is. Like, just weird.
Wallmaster, yeah, Wallmasters, I guess?
I guess.
The gimmick in this specifically right here is that we have to bring an eyeball back. And I guess the other gimmick is that there's multiple entrances and multiple holes to drop down.
Oh, that's like the Lost Woods one in Link to the Past.
Yeah, this is also Lost Woods one.
Ah. What are your thoughts on, since I was just in my head, I've been watching more SNES Drunk stuff recently, and his, like, top 2 SNES games he always talks about is Link to the Past and Chrono Trigger, which is not a ridiculous statement at all. What are your general thoughts on Chrono Trigger?
I think it's a good game, but it is probably the most overrated game of all time.
People who like it consider it to be just, like, the best game ever.
Again, I like it.
I played it, and I liked it, but...
I don't think it does anything... It has a really good soundtrack, and it looks really nice. But I think in terms of, like, mechanics, it's not super interesting. It has some cool set pieces, like, especially, like, stuff in the earlier in the game, like the court trial. Like, that's very cinematic for the Super Nintendo. But it definitely feels like it is, like, baby's first JRPG. Like, if you want to play one JRPG as your first one, I'd probably say play Chrono Trigger. I feel as if like people played Chrono Trigger and then they just never did anything else, and they're just like, Chrono Trigger's the only one I ever need.
Yeah, that's fair. The whatchamacallit, here. The tech skills in it are, like, cool, but not, like, anything close to complicated, if that makes sense. Like, they're just, like, very, just simple. I also never super like the fact that it's a mixture between, it's not random encounters, but at the same time, it's,
yeah,
they're, like, preordained.
Yeah, it's like you go through a certain area of a certain room, and there's always an encounter there. And I think Chrono Cross having like field models that you have to touch.
That's my favorite.
That's
way.
definitely the best.
I mean, that's Saga Frontier too. It's just my favorite.
But
way.
very few JRPGs at that point were doing like field model encounters.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if there's literally any.
I bet like the Romancing Saga games did, since Saga Frontier ended up doing that a couple years later for the PS1. But obviously, we didn't get those in America, so.
I'm not. Yeah, I remember trying Romance and Saga 3, but I just do not remember. I don't think I got very far in that game.
Yeah.
Did I just get the big key? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always just been interesting that people just consider that to be like the 10 out of 10 GOAT game when it's like it's definitely good.
It has very good production values, and it has one thing I'll definitely give is that it's one of the best soundtracks of all time. Definitely top 5 Super Nintendo.
And
I don't think I love it as much as other people.
It has good characters. I mean, Frog is awesome, as is it Magus?
Yeah. Magus, Magus.
He's very cool. I also like I forget what they call the final boss. I like that idea that he's just like kind of everywhere throughout all of history. Although, I like the idea of having all the different endings in the way that they do. But as someone who likes to be generally a completionist, it's pretty frustrating when you have to play it like over and over again, you know?
Yeah, that's something they do with Chrono Cross too, where depending on when you defeat Lavos,
right,
you get a different ending. But a lot of them do kind of just feel like what-if scenarios. Like, they're kind of cool, but they also just feel super non-canon.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's... Boy, there's a lot of people who absolutely love it, and I don't know. The 2 games on the SNES that I'm always think are, like, so overvalued is that and Secret of Mana, which SNES Truck puts it in a really good way. He says it's the most flawed classic, and I think that's a really good way of putting it, because that game is really flawed in a lot of ways.
So, Secret of Mana I do really like. I actually really regret the LP we did for that, where I wanted you and Ben to play it, and you ended up not liking it, and Ben didn't like it either.
Oh.
And I remember we stopped at LP because I got really mad. But I kind of wanted to go back and like do it just by myself, but I felt like it would just be boring. But Secret of Mana is the most misunderstood game because appearance-wise, it looks like a action RPG. You just want to hack and slash stuff, like if you're playing like Terra Enigma or something. It is not a
right.
It's not a action RPG. It is a turn-based RPG with some positioning elements, and it really does. It's more of just a regular RPG that kind of masquerades itself. I'm gonna go get the upgraded sword.
I also heard that it gets better as it goes on, because the other flaw with the game is that the first couple hours are like not the greatest.
Yeah, it's
but
definitely.
I heard it gets a lot better as it goes on.
It's definitely one of those games that gets a lot better over time. But I'm not saying that I like Secret of Mana better than Chrono Trigger. I mean, I was saying that the game isn't like the most. I think it's one of the most overrated games of all time, but I would still give Chrono Trigger like a 9 out of 10, maybe like an 8.5 out of 10. But Secret of Mana, like at max, I'd give like an 8 out of 10. But I still really like it. But some people do think it's genuinely bad, and I understand.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if I would say genuinely bad. That's not even fair. It's just people act like it's like a 9 or 10 out of 10, and I would not put it up on that ranking personally. It is cool that it has the multiplayer, although it's something you would never really potentially not even know while playing it, since you don't get the second character for a while, and then you don't get the third character for a long time after that. Alright, folks, so I think we just have 2 dungeons left.
2 dungeons left.
At this point. And then 4 more heart pieces to get as well. So, we'll be, probably 2 more sit-downs. 1 more sit-down would probably be pretty...
The tower side quest I have to do for the heart piece and the last unlock takes a while. Might be 3, maybe 2, we'll see.
Let's do it! Alright guys, we'll see you next time, and... bye.